Hi, my name is Liz Hiller with NACE, and I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, Fostering Career Readiness Using Simulations and Interactive Videos. We encourage you to actively participate in the chat and please post your questions in the Q&A. It is my pleasure to introduce Mara Lavelle, Director of Simulation Development for Simucase. Take it away, Mara.
Thank you, Liz, and thank you to our participants for joining us today. Clint and I are thrilled to be here to present a new tool to help students and professionals develop competency in the skills that they need for academic and workplace success. In this talk, we'll discuss the benefits of using simulations and videos to teach these skills and strategies to monitor learner performance. Simucase began with the development of our clinical experience solution. It was developed at Case Western Reserve University by Dr. Stacy Williams and launched in 2013. Clinical experience uses computer-based simulations and interactive videos to assess and improve clinical skills for allied and behavioral health students and professionals. It includes over 290 computer-based simulations and 1,400 interactive videos to date, covering material for the professions in these learning spaces. Simulations are based on real scenarios, and the majority of the cases feature actual patients. The clinical experience solution is used by over 600 programs in the US and internationally. Next slide, please. The benefits of simulation as a teaching methodology have been substantiated for a number of years. We know that simulation is safe and risk-free. Learners engage in deliberate, repeated practice in a comprehensive and immersive environment. They can apply knowledge and experience practical situations, and this is a process that we know fosters reflection and supports critical learning areas. In addition to teaching clinical skills, simulation-based education is also a supported methodology to address soft skills. Research indicates that educational material and simulations that feature real-world scenarios have the biggest impact on learners' communication and professional skills. And as the workplace landscape evolved over the past several years, we heard from countless administrators that they were really looking for a tool to help teach and reinforce not only the technical skills, but also those non-technical professionalism skills that will prepare their students and employees for success in their careers and beyond. And this is the research that led us to create the Simucase Career Readiness solution. And I'm now going to hand it over to Clint Johnson, my co-presenter, and we're going to do a quick little poll.
So everybody, here's our first poll of the day, and welcome everybody. I see folks in the chat are from all over the US. If you can take a look at this survey, there is a QR code up at the top. You can also open up a web browser window and use the code down below. But our first question for our survey is, how does your organization answering? We've got informal checklist, rubrics, feedback from supervisors. I do see some folks that don't assess career readiness skills. If you're using commercial assessment tools, we'd love to hear what assessment tools you're using. So you can put those in the chat as well. But yeah, so it looks like feedback from supervisors, informal checklist, rubrics, commercial assessment tools are kind of a small amount there. All right. And if you're using other, we'd love to hear about that as well. You're welcome to put those in the chat too. Built-in focus to career. So I see some folks putting some things in that chat. All right, let's move on to our next survey. How does your organization support the development of career readiness skills? So you should still be able to see that on your phone and answer this next survey. One-on-one meetings, role play, great. Online in-person courses, do have some articles, recommended readings using discussion boards, and some other ways to do that as well. For the most, it looks like one-on-one meetings are the way you guys are going, some role play, some online in-person courses as well. I'll let that sit for just a second. Okay, good. Thank you all for participating. I appreciate that. And then our last question is, which of the following skills do your students or employees need additional support or training? So of these skills, we have communication, professional behaviors, teamwork, critical thinking. You can choose as many as you like. And it does look like all of them are getting a hit as we come through here. So we have communication, professional behaviors, critical thinking, interview prep are all areas that you guys are indicating you would like to work on with your students. And I can tell you, I have repeated this survey multiple times, and communication, professional behaviors, critical thinking, those are always at the top of the list. So it is something that we're seeing kind of across the board. I'm seeing it in the demos that I do individually with universities and businesses as well. So communication, professional behavior, critical thinking, interview prep, and then emotional intelligence also are the ones that we're kind of identifying as the skills that our students and employees need additional support with. All right, so let's keep moving through here. I do see a good comment. I think students these days are nervous to get something wrong or to not understand. And there actually is in this product a topic area called learning from mistakes. And I think you're very right that students are afraid to learn from their mistakes because they're afraid to make those mistakes. So I think you're very right there. Good observation. All right, I'm going to pass it back to Mara, and she's going to give us a little bit of the background on some professional competencies research.
Thank you, Clint. So, like Clint mentioned, we venture to bet that you're here joining us because you're aware of the need to implement some programming that addresses and teaches these skills. We've identified 4 key themes that you see here when exploring professional competencies research. The first is many employers prioritize soft skills over a person's undergraduate major during the interviewing process. The second is that despite this level of importance, only about half of employers believe college graduates are very prepared to enter the workforce in regards to these types of skills. The third theme is that we know employers are certainly looking for these types of skills during the hiring process. And then to round us out is that despite the value placed on these soft skills, employers report significant difficulty finding candidates with adequate strengths in these areas. Next slide, please. I want to briefly touch on a practical framework here for approaching gaps in professional skills with learners that really supports being proactive in laying the foundation needed to develop these skills. The first, identify the skill gaps early on. The second is obtain objective data, so you have a baseline competency to compare against. Third is create a shared understanding of what the critical skills are and the importance of them. So we know when an individual has a true understanding of how lacking these skills can impact their current performance and their future success in their careers, they're more likely to actively subscribe to any curriculum for these skills. Develop learning plans for goal attainment and actively involve learners in that process. And then lastly, use measurable outcomes. Some strategies we know to address these gaps, we would say generally fit into these 3 categories: experiential learning, structured reflection, and coaching. Kind of like to think of these as a learning trifecta, and we'll come back to them in a bit. And then all of this, next slide, please, brings us to the Simucase Career Readiness solution. So Career Readiness is an online learning tool that uses a combination of interactive videos and simulations to help individuals level up in their core competencies that will equip them now and in their future careers. The product has 36 discrete topics that are aligned to NACE's 8 core competencies, and you can see them here on the next slide. Many of these topics for these skills highlighted earlier in the poll are those that you mentioned your students and employees need additional support or training for. So teamwork, emotional intelligence, professional behaviors and conduct, communication, conflict management, and so on. We won't read all of these through, but you'll see more of this in the demo here in a bit. And we worked with subject matter experts from across the country to bring this material to life in simulation and video form. Next slide. They come from a wide range of backgrounds. Many are industrial and organizational psychologists. They're well-versed in the skills needed for career success, of course. Several are faculty teaching in first-year seminar courses or other on-campus departments, entrepreneurs involved in learning and development at the business level, and executive and leadership coaching. And in collaboration with these subject matter experts, we took the principles of experiential learning that I mentioned earlier, social and adult learning, to create the career readiness product. And I'm going to hand it over to Clint now to really dive into the material itself and discuss implementation strategies.
And totally agree, Elise, that a one-on-one meeting in the beginning with the employer and employee is super important in terms of making sure that people do feel comfortable to come to them for help and everything. So love you pointing that out. I do have a QR code up here. I'll show this again towards the end of the presentation. But if you are interested in the slides, I can certainly send you the slides. We can also, you can set up a demo, a one-on-one demo or with you, and we can also get you a free trial. So we can give you full access to the system. So let's jump in. And the career readiness is a learning plan. Okay, so there are 10 levels in that learning plan. It does have a pre and a post assessment. So the pre-assessment is level 1, the post assessment is level 10. There are 8 levels of content, and each level includes interactive videos that teach specific skills. At the end of each level, you'll apply the information you learned in a simulation to earn a badge. And then at the very end, you'll complete a post-assessment to earn a certificate and a digital badge. That digital badge can, of course, be posted on the student's LinkedIn page or uploaded on the LinkedIn page. Their certificate can serve as a credential that they can use on their resume as well. All right, so I'm going to back out of here, and we're going to jump into the pre-assessment. So as you can see, we do have a pre-assessment that we'll start out with. There'll be a video that the student can watch to begin with, and that'll kind of introduce them to career readiness, what the expectations are, and then we'll move to the pre-assessment. You can see I've already completed this, so you can see my badge right here at level 1. And then once we complete the pre-assessment, we'll move to level 2. So let's start with our pre-assessment. And I'm going to launch that. And we'll begin.
The purpose of this pre-assessment is to help you identify your areas of strength and opportunities for growth. There are no right or wrong answers, and your responses will not impact your score, so be sure to answer the statements honestly. Consider your usual behavior and rate the degree to which each statement applies to you.
So I spend time thinking about my strengths and areas for development as they relate to my success in my future career. I create a goal that includes key milestones to help me see progress towards that goal. So the student is self-identifying here. I have confidence in my skills to succeed in professional work environments, and to support my future career goals, I voluntarily participate in development opportunities. I am comfortable networking with others to build relationships that will help me now and in my future career.
You're off to a great start. Now consider your comfort level with career readiness course topics to answer the next set of questions.
So, which set of topics do you feel you know the most about or represent strengths of yours? So we want to select one set. And if you do select a set that is a strength, you need to say why, and then we'll submit it. Which set of topics do you feel the most about or represent a strength? So we'll do another one, and we'll pick another strength. So we're picking 2 strengths, and then again, saying why. We'll submit that. And then the last one, you're going to pick areas that you would like to continue working on. So this is going to be important. This will be aggregate data that you'll find in your dashboard. So you'll be able to see kind of how your students are doing and what topic areas they've identified that they want to work on. So I think that's a good piece of information for you as well. And then we'll submit that
Great
and hear
work.
from our
As you
narrator a little
continue with your
more.
learning plan, you will have an opportunity to explore these topics more and further develop your skills. While interacting with each video and simulation, focus on key takeaways. Remember, your ultimate task during the knowledge check simulations is to help a young professional named Joaquin as he navigates different work-life situations. To do so, pay close attention to the details of each situation. Now, let's meet Joaquin.
Hey, I'm Joaquin. Let's see. I am definitely a night owl, and I'm pretty into music. Definitely not playing it, but listening to it. Oh yeah, video games are top of my list too. I honestly don't watch much TV, but to chill out, sometimes I'll stream some movies. Let's see, what else? Oh, I've played soccer most of my life. As a kid, I used to dream about making.
So Joaquin introduces himself. We do learn about him. He is a first-generation college student. He now has his first job, and he's presented with some challenges in that job. And there are some things that we're going to help him with as we go through the levels of the product. So in each level, we'll have a simulation. That's a new challenge for him as we learn our skills. So let me move back. And we'll move back to career readiness here. And now you can see my next level is the big meeting. So I'm going to learn about time management, professional behavior and conduct, communication, self-awareness management, mental well-being. Now, all those things may not seem to be kind of connected together, but they're actually all the skills that you're going to need to help Joaquin in the first simulation called the big meeting. And then you would move to the next level called the user experience. You'll be taught 4 more skills, and again, you'll apply those skills in the next simulation, each time going through earning a badge. So these accounts, they are annual accounts. Students have 12 months to finish up this content. We've already got some schools using it, and students are kind of going through this rather quickly. They're doing quite well with the content, and really enjoying it. So I do see a few questions coming through. We are going to answer all questions when we get towards the end here. But we'll be able to answer everything. So I'm going to leave enough time for questions. So let's move to our videos. So just as an overview of the videos here, the narrator is going to introduce the topic. The subject matter expert teaches the skills. There are video scenarios that reinforce the skills. So there'll always be 3 scenarios. These scenarios some will be school-based, some will be personal life-based, some will be based off of a job as well. So we look at all areas of a student or a new employee's life there. There are yes, no, as well as multiple choice questions that appear throughout each video. All questions must be answered correctly to move forward in the video. And to make sure that everybody's watching the videos, you cannot fast forward in the videos unless you can't fast forward at all until you've watched the video one time all the way through. After that, you can fast forward and go back through and look at key pieces of content if you wanted to refresh yourself as well. So I'm going to move back here, and we're going to look at professional behavior and conduct. I'm going to show you that as an example here. So we'll launch our video, and we'll begin.
Welcome to our training on the topic of professional behaviors and conduct. Behaving professionally encompasses many factors. While some professions may have clear codes of conduct, many more job roles have more general rules for how to act when you're an employee of an organization. Having a basic foundation for what to do in workplace situations will help you demonstrate competence and gain respect in your business relationships, and may help you navigate situations in your personal life. This course will help you define professional conduct, determine the importance of behaving in a professional manner, and detail what skills you can practice to improve your professional behaviors. Next, you'll hear from Taylor Hammond, our expert on this topic.
Hi, my name is Taylor Hammond. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist and I lead a diversity and inclusion consulting firm. I focus on helping corporations be more inclusive and lead with empathy. Professional behavior, or conducting yourself in a professional manner, refers to your attitude, appearance, and manners. That is, how you speak, appear, and act, and make decisions in your work environment. It doesn't mean you need to change who you are, but understanding what it is and what isn't acceptable behavior in a professional environment can help you avoid embarrassment and other problems in your workplace. Each company has its own culture with specific expectations for what you wear, how you do your job, and how you interact with others, including colleagues, managers, customers, and clients.
And then I'm just going to fast forward just a little bit here and we'll jump into our video scenarios.
Both improve your personal and business interactions.
Let's apply these concepts to real-life scenarios. In these scenarios, you will hear from 3 individuals encountering situations where they will need to practice professional behaviors and conduct.
Hi, I'm Taryn. Recently, I attended a career day through school. Before the event, the coordinator gave everyone a tip sheet about what to wear and how to talk with the people hosting the different booths. One tip emphasized how wearing clothing that fits me and doesn't have holes or stains demonstrates respect for the representatives. After reading that, I decided against wearing jeans and put on a nice outfit I wore to my sister's graduation instead. I never thought much about changing my style to fit how other people see me. It seemed to help though. When I approached a booth, the hosts paid attention to me, but some other people I saw in sweatpants and old t-shirts didn't seem to generate as much interest. The tip sheet also said to remember we were there to have conversations. I didn't know what I would talk about, but the representatives helped by asking about my academics, and the tip sheet suggested I ask questions about the businesses. I made eye contact when we spoke, even though that wasn't easy for me, and remembered to thank them for their time. At first, I felt so nervous my hands shook, but I took some deep breaths and reminded myself I was there to learn from the experience. I did slip up once. I dropped my stuff and it went everywhere, so I accidentally cursed out loud. Rita, one of the representatives, heard me and laughed while I apologized. She said everyone forgets themselves sometimes and suggested getting into the habit of using an alternate word now to avoid embarrassment later. Yesterday, I received an email from Rita asking if I wanted to intern with her company part-time this summer. Now, I'm working on composing a professional email to accept. Am I on the right track?
So as you can see, these are not always negative situations. Sometimes it'll start out with a very positive situation. We can see that Taryn is indeed doing the right thing. So we'll go ahead and click yes there. I'll submit that and we'll go move on to our
Taryn does
next
a
one.
good job using the tip sheet to help her think through how to conduct herself for the career day event. By adjusting her personal style, she gains the interest of other representatives, while others who wear casual clothes receive less attention. Taryn demonstrates a professional manner by making eye contact while speaking, asking questions about people's businesses, and thanking them for their time. Going forward, Taryn could role play with her friends or her family to help her to continue improving her interview and professional conversation skills. When she begins her internship, Taryn could also talk more with Rita, a colleague, about opportunities to practice her professional behaviors and conduct skills. Next, let's meet Archie.
Hi, I'm Archie. I used to work.
So now this one will be a little bit of a different situation. And this one again is work related. So you can see there are some that are school related, personal life related as well, work related
Part-time
too.
cleaning lab equipment after business hours, but I got hired to work full-time in the company's front office a few months ago. Now, I actually get to see people during work hours. I also talk to clients on-site, by phone and by email. Frankly, it's a lot more conversation and interaction at work than I'm used to. When I first came over, I had some trouble figuring out how to dress for the office. In the lab, jeans and a t-shirt made sense because I got messy. Here, everyone has to follow a dress code. I forgot a few times and wore jeans, so finally my supervisor said she would send me home to change if I kept doing it. I've been better since, but I still think it's a dumb rule. And yesterday, I got in trouble with a client, Jerry. All my coworkers talk about how grumpy this guy is, how they hate when he comes in, stuff like that. When they saw him arrive, it's like they melted away, leaving me to deal with him. I asked him how I could help, and Jerry started to rant about how the company cuts corners and always gets his orders wrong. I interrupted by talking loudly over him to get him to tell me exactly what he needed, but Jerry said he could tell I was lazy because I wasn't wearing a tie, and he wanted to speak to my supervisor. When I said she had stepped out, he called me useless and a couple of personal names. I got mad and embarrassed and maybe did some name calling right back. Jerry stormed out, but he called my supervisor, and now I have to meet with her and human resources about my conduct. I told her everyone hates Jerry and talks bad about him. I just had the guts to tell him to his face. Maybe if everyone told him about his bad behavior, we could get him to change. Am I on the right track?
So Archie could use a little support there, so we'll go ahead and say no, and then we'll go ahead and submit that. Taylor will come back in
While
to
Archie may
again
feel that the company's dress code is dumb,
reinforce what has been taught there. There'll be another scenario that appears, and then at the end, there'll be multiple, excuse me, multiple opportunities to answer multiple choice questions, and kind of recap that behavior as well. In terms of this is the piece where we're learning our behaviors, they will have a chance to apply these behaviors as we move into the simulation. So remember, the subject matter expert is teaching the content, then the scenarios the students can kind of learn about, and it reinforces the content. And then in the end, we're going to move to a simulation where we'll actually start to apply those skills. So let's move to the big meeting now. So you can see I've completed these. I cannot go to the big meeting simulation until I complete all of these skills. So let's jump into the big meeting. We'll launch our simulation, and I'm going to start it. And the students would not see this. I have an administrative account, which gives me access to other modes. It would just automatically launch for them. And then we'll jump in, and we'll go ahead and get started. So just to acclimate you to the screen, we're going to show our clipboard. The clipboard kind of keeps a running log of what we're doing. I'm going to move to from left to right here. We'll start with collecting data about the situation and then move to completing it. The circles here are progress meters. Those progress meters will fill in as I make reflective decisions. They'll empty with incorrect decisions. So let's start.
Welcome to the Level 2 simulation. Your task in this simulation is to apply the knowledge gained in the video modules you completed in Level 2 to help Joaquin make wise choices as he confronts a work-life situation. You will gain points for making correct selections and lose points for making incorrect selections. You must achieve at least an 80% competency rating in each simulation to earn a reward and advance to the next level. If you have questions and need to view the simulation tutorial, use the help tool located in the headers of steps 1 through 5. During the pre-assessment, you met Joaquin for the first time. Let's check in with Joaquin now.
It's good to see you again. Like I mentioned when we first met, the work at my new job has started to pick up. I feel like I'm expected to know everything about my job duties. But a lot of the time, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
So Joaquin will introduce himself again, and then I'm in this collect section. We'll go ahead and collect
Joaquin's
information.
team is responsible for multiple projects. Joaquin is assigned to 3, so in addition to his daily tasks, he must meet several ongoing competing deadlines. He's missed a few key assignments, though, and feels overwhelmed and incompetent. He started working late most nights to try to keep up. The team has an important video conference meeting scheduled with a project sponsor and key collaborators from multiple locations. The day before, Joaquin realizes he forgot to complete his tasks for the project report. He works through the night to add hundreds of data points, but in the morning, Alicia, the project manager, informs Joaquin that he used outdated data. Alicia warns Joaquin that he needs to do better. Exhausted and frustrated, Joaquin spends the time before the meeting alternating between just quitting and considering solutions to the problem he's created. After letting himself feel bad for a few minutes, Joaquin realizes he's made a commitment to his team and to the project, and he wants to do better. Joaquin joins the virtual meeting on time. Though he still feels shaky when it's his turn to speak about the project, he remembers to introduce himself and then, without making excuses, apologizes for the data errors in the report. Joaquin describes the steps he'll take to fix the errors and provides a timeline for getting the updates to everyone. The attendees thank him for being solutions-focused, and the meeting continues with discussion of the next project phase. Joaquin feels relieved, but thinks the heavy feeling in his chest may take time to subside.
So as you'll notice, I've seen some things about accessibility. You'll notice things are closed caption. You'll also notice that anything that is a monologue is also printed here as well. We would then move to the review section, and we can start to review the specific skills that were taught during this. This is just going to be really quick, and I'm not going to really spend a lot of time on this, but if I click it,
Communication involves exchanging and
you'll notice
expressing information between two or more people.
that he'll define the topic, and then he's going to also review how to improve those skills. When I click on this, you're going to see a green bar appear in the top right corner. That's positive feedback as well.
To improve communication, listen actively to others and pay attention to both verbal and nonverbal cues. Decide which modes of communication are best for the situation.
And the student does have to click on all of these and kind of review those skills. They would then move to analyzing the situation and forming an action plan. So again, we'll click administer. We're going to play the response.
You heard what happened, right? So I've been pretty overwhelmed lately, and I feel like the work just keeps piling up, and I can never quite meet the deadlines. I've always managed to get by pretty well, so I'm not entirely sure why I'm struggling here. I hate making mistakes, especially when so many people know about it. But to be honest, I cannot believe that I used the last year's data in the report. Such a facepalm moment. Alicia was right to be upset with me, but it made me just want to give up. I will say, she made me really think about this job and what I'm struggling with. I like it here, but maybe I'm not putting my attention in the right places and what I need to do. I do okay managing final deadlines for projects, but I am missing the details and smaller checkpoints, which the team is quick to let me know about. I guess I should speak up and ask for more support from my manager. But now it might be too late. And I am worried that if I, bring this up, my concern is going to be calling for more attention to them. I'm also having trouble sleeping and I feel jumpy a lot. I'm trying to relax when I'm not working, so I game with my friends online or listen to some of my favorite albums. For me, the louder the music, the better. But maybe I need...
So Joaquin will go through the situation, what issues come up for him, managing time and priorities, communicating when additional support is needing, navigating stressors. He does indicate that he plays video games and listens to music, but maybe we can find some additional things for him that are kind of relaxing as well. What strengths does he demonstrate? He does hold himself accountable. He manages emotions despite feeling frustrated. We can then get our feedback here, and we can see that those are correct choices. If we were to get something incorrect, you can see that this now tells me that my answer is only partially correct here. And I can fix that, redo it, and get my feedback again. Move to the next slide. We'll play the response, watch the
I know
additional
I'm
video.
really new at this and I'm going to make mistakes. I'd like to avoid making the same mistakes though. So, what can I do differently to improve in these areas?
So what can Joaquin do? He can prioritize projects. He can assume and work. What can Joaquin do to improve is he can prioritize projects by due date and set automatic reminders. What's the best way to improve his communication skills? Be proactive and communicate to his manager. What's the best way for Joaquin to improve his mental well-being? He can ensure he gets adequate sleep as well. So then we can click those off. And then in the last slide, we'll play the response again.
Now that you've helped Joaquin develop an action plan to improve his skills, reflect on your own experiences and consider the topics of time management, professional behaviors and conduct, communication, self-awareness, and mental well-being.
So list 3 takeaways
Now,
that will help you implement in your own life. List 3 personal goals related to the topic of time management. This will be open-ended, but these will be in the reports if you want to take a look at these for individual students as well. And then we're going to just have a little check. So what did we learn from here? So Joaquin demonstrates difficulty with time management. He has difficulty communicating when he needs additional support. He demonstrates good professional conduct by acknowledging his error. If I made a mistake, you'll see it will give me a little ding there as well. And then the last piece is to mark it as complete, submit it, and I can get my score. So remember, we're going for an 80% accuracy. If the student needs to, they can then restart the simulation and try it again. They can also review their results in a report. They can see anything that they got wrong. So there you can see one of the things that I missed as well. And then they can restart the simulation. They will not have to do the whole thing. So I just missed something in apply. So I'm just going to reset that. And then I would restart and I can keep going. Okay. Like I said, we don't anticipate students having to do these a lot of times over again. If they're listening as they go through, it should be pretty straightforward. But if they need to, they can certainly do it again, and that is fine. So you remember the joy of a simulation. It's a safe place where you can practice. And if you don't like how it goes the first time, you start it over and you try it again. All right. So let's jump back into our presentation here. I can submit that. We'll go back to our My Learning page. I do want to show you just what that career readiness. So we have our badge, and then we would move to learning from mistakes and start going down the next ones. As you can see, the topics start to get a little more complex as we move up. Like when we get to the game changer, we're talking about emotional intelligence, trust building, adaptability, resilience, giving and receiving feedback. So as you move up, you continue to see these skills get a little higher level at that point. So let me jump back into our slideshow here. And at the end, the students will receive a certificate of completion. Of course, they'll also get an electronic badge that they can use as well on things like LinkedIn. Some of our debriefing and implementation strategies for this, you can consider starting to review these career readiness skills at orientation. I did see a comment about the pre-assessment that you might need to go over these terms with your students before they actually start the pre-assessment as well. We want to avoid vague terms like professional skills and soft skills. That doesn't mean a whole lot to students. So I really think referring back to those NACE career readiness competencies, the specific skills that we've pointed out here in the product are super important. You can facilitate debrief discussions at specific checkpoints. You could have a discussion after the students complete each level, or you could, pick a midpoint and discuss what's going on with these. If you are a faculty member, consider listing the competencies that are required for specific activities and assignments in your syllabi so that the students start hearing those competencies over and over again. As you guys know, I'm preaching to the choir here, but encourage your students to participate in co-curricular activities. Those are so important in reinforcing and developing these career readiness competencies. And then finally, once you get your students' post-assessment results, and in that post-assessment, they're going to identify areas that they would like to continue working on. So, you can certainly begin to discuss any post-assessment results with them and then set up maybe some action plans to follow up at the end. Um, in terms of how to infuse this into your programs, at the university level, we do see using this in first year experiences, sophomore year experience, as a career center resource, so you could use it prescriptively. There is no minimum order for the number of memberships that you can purchase, so you can use it as a resource. There's a remediation at the departmental level. I also had a faculty member the other day that I was working with say that this would be good tool for disability services. Certainly could be used with students that may have learning disabilities or attention deficit. So I think it's got some really nice applications there. I did see a question about whether or not it could be applied at the graduate level, and we already have graduate level programs using this currently. So as a matter of fact, I'd say uh, a lot of the programs right now are using it at the graduate level. For businesses, I think it can be used at intern programs, certainly for onboarding new employees, can be used and performed for folks on PIPs, and it can be an additional training resource for employees. I also, when we were at NACE last year and showing this, had someone say this could be great for someone that wants to move up the ladder, that may be interested in some management opportunities, but there may be some particular skills that they need to improve on to level up in. So though that's another opportunity for the use of this product as well. Just to let you know, we will have professional skills coming soon. So we have career readiness skills. Professional skills will be specifically made for those in the workforce. So that's going to be coming towards the end of Q1. It's a great tool for pre-hire, onboarding, or ongoing training. Depends on your organizational needs. With the professional skills product, you will be able to tailor the training to fit each team member and assign them areas that you would like them to work on. And of course, it's to boost productivity as well as retention. So I do have kind of a sample video for what the professional version is going to look like. And I'm just going to kind of show the end of that as well. So in this one, the videos will play all the way through, and then the questions are going to kind of appear at the end. So let's take a look at kind of that recap area. So go ahead and get started there. And press play. Well, hang on for a second. I have clicked something I did not mean to click. There we go.
Time management doesn't mean your schedule will always go according to plan, but it will help you regroup if you find yourself with competing priorities. Krista initially loses track of time because they have so much to do, but they realize they need to review their calendar and accept they are overcommitted. In contrast, Mario remains certain he can complete his tasks despite missing milestones for his project. Mario may fear that delegating tasks makes him look incompetent, but failing to complete them looks worse. As he practices delegation, he should identify which tasks require his skills and which can be entrusted to others. Krista effectively reduces their workload by handing off tasks that don't need their attention. Krista's calendar review helps her communicate needs to her supervisor and team, improving relationships by seeking help before deadlines. In contrast, Mario's unclear communication delays him. He should promptly contact Charlotte if he struggles to meet deadlines, ensuring he alerts others to prevent disruptions in project timelines.
So you can see this
When you
is
don't
much
have
more
enough time to do
focused,
all the tasks you need to do, or enough time for self-care or
and the videos are a little shorter here, so they're around 8 to 10 minutes per video. there will also still be simulations in that professional skills product. Mara, do you have anything else to add about the professional skills product?
Really, that it's just that it's a condensed version of the material that we present in career readiness, and it's really aimed at presenting the content in a way that's easy to digest and is more tailored for a professional audience that may not have as much time to commit to the full career readiness product that's really geared towards a student audience.
Thank you. I am going to put that QR code back up again. We do have that free trial available. You can sign up for a demo. If you'll also you can also have an opportunity to shoot me an email. We will provide you with that PowerPoint presentation. Of course, this will also be recorded, and you can come back to the recording as well. But I promised you we'd answer some questions, so let's go ahead and we can move through and take a look at some questions here. So if you guys want to post any questions that you have, Mara, is there particular questions that you think we should address first?
And answering some of them on the fly. So those are in the answered section. What is the cost of using this tool? That one came up in the beginning.
So the memberships start at $50 for an annual subscription, but then it's based off of the number of memberships that you're purchasing. That price goes down rather quickly for group and bulk pricing. We can certainly get you a quote and be happy to send you that. So the price goes down as low as $15 per student. So it just depends on the number of memberships that you'll be purchasing.
Another question we have here is how long does it take to go through a full simulation?
So the full simulation, or just a simulation, or the full product?
We have both questions, actually.
So the simulations take about 20 minutes. The video content, each video ranges from about 15 to 20 minutes. The entire product would take about 12 to 14 hours to get through. That's why we do sell it as an annual account. I don't, so it can be spread out through the school year as well. Other questions? So we got how long would it take to
Scrolling
complete?
through.
Is it possible to customize, tailor the videos for our particular interest, industry, and business lines? We do have the option where we can make you a customized product if that is something that you're interested in. Of course, there is a cost associated with that. We're trying to keep this pretty general so that it will work with any business organization or school at this point. But there are some options where we can build some customized things for a particular business or university as well. In terms of, is there an option where you can tailor the material directly for students or for businesses? We will have that feature available in the spring. So you'll be able to assign the content that you want directly to the students. Other questions? Would students have access to their account after the membership is over? They would be able to access their records so that they can see their reports, but they would not be able to access the actual content once their account expires. We do keep records for 7 years so that if you needed those records, you can get those as well. So we can always give them to you. So we are just now starting this. So I do see some integration with Suitable, some integration with Workday. Those are things that we can certainly explore in the future. I also saw the question about LMS integration. Did you already answer that, Mara?
I did not answer that one, no.
Okay, so LMS integration is coming. We will start with Canvas. Blackboard is next, but those are coming very, very soon.
There's a
Yes.
question if we're interested in hearing more, would you be available for a one-on-one meeting? So definitely you can use this QR code and that will give us your information and we can set up a demo with you after.
Yeah. Also, if you go onto our website, all across it, you'll see schedule a demo. So if you couldn't get to the QR code, just go there, request a demo. There's an option to choose career readiness. We'll be happy to do that. I enjoy seeing everybody. Other questions? So, Mara, you want to take this one? Are all the simulations about analyzing someone else's behavior? Are there any that include opportunities for students to envision themselves in scenarios?
Yeah, that's a great question. We really try to prime that from the beginning with the pre-assessment and really having it be more about the learner and where they feel their strengths or maybe challenge areas are. And there are questions built throughout not only the videos, but in the simulations that are open text so that they can really kind of put themselves in that position and think about what they would do and really frame it back to their own experiences. And we also have guided questions for those who are facilitating this on the administrative side so that you can really align the material with kind of in classroom curriculum and have even kind of small debrief questions to explore that with your students, face to face. So there's definitely there are definitely opportunities built into the product itself, and then we do provide resources to make that as a reflective as process as possible for the learners.
And I think I did get what happens if the student does choose the incorrect option. This was a question that was from the chat. In the videos, they get an option to retry that, so they can actually watch that portion of the video again and then retry answering the question. And I think in the simulations, I showed that they do get feedback. They don't get an opportunity to fix that in some of the areas, but as I said, they can restart the simulation and then they can try that section again. So they do get feedback and then they can remedy those errors that they made as well. I'm working at Career Center. I'm getting my master's in instructional design, so this is a great resource. I like that. Awesome. Let's see what else we have here. So I did see, would you use this with neurodiverse students? I certainly think this has a great opportunity to work with students that have, you know, uh, other diagnoses, autism, ADHD, things along those lines. I think it certainly has some merit there as well. Anybody else have any additional questions that we have not been able to answer yet? I did get questions about, online programs. Currently, we have a ton of online programs that use our clinical experience product already, and they use it super successfully. If you schedule one of those demo meetings with me, I'll be happy to kind of show you how it gets integrated into an online environment. Yeah, I have asynchronous schools using it, as well as hybrid programs using it too. Are there any other questions? Did we get everybody's question?
I think so. I'm still trying to filter through. If we happen not to answer it here live, we can definitely follow up with you after. I think we've caught up with all of them.
Yeah, please send
That's
any
great.
questions our way. We are happy to answer your questions, and we thank you all for coming out. We did not expect to see this many people here today, and we really appreciate it. We will be at the NACE conference in June exhibiting. We hope to see you there. Before then, reach out, set up a meeting. Let's talk about your program and how we can help you. We would love to do that. So please reach out. And once again, thank you so much.